Hello, I'm Lebu Diseko. Welcome to Focus on Africa and a special edition of our programme looking at the deadly attacks in Paris, including an African perspective on the events. France's President François Hollande calls for a single international coalition to destroy the so-called Islamic State.
We are at war. A new type of war against a new sort of enemy.
And I'm Olivier Weber in Paris, where I'll be reporting live on the latest on this investigation and where I've sought reaction of African communities here in the French capital.
Also scared because for us to live here won't be easy from now on. We just don't know what will happen.
The attacks have led to heightened security in other parts of the world. African leaders from across the continent have condemned the killings. Also on this programme, do some lives matter more than others? As the world's media focused on events in Paris, some people in other parts of the world questioned why attacks in Africa and the Middle East weren't covered in quite the same way.
Thanks for joining us on Focus on Africa from BBC World News. I'm Olivier Weber, live in Paris, here in the heart of the French capital on the Place de la République, where behind me thousands of people throughout those last couple of days have come to pay their respects, have come to mourn, have come to express their grief, but also their anger at the events here in the French capital. Today, France is a country in mourning. It's also a country at war. That's what French President François Hollande today told both houses of parliament in an extraordinary speech, probably the most important speech of François Hollande's career. François Hollande vowed to destroy so-called Islamic State. Let's listen to him.
We are at war. But this war is another type against a new sort of enemy. And this demands a constitutional system that allows us to face this crisis. We will eradicate terrorism because the French want to go on living together without being afraid of other human beings. We will eradicate terrorism because we are attached to freedom, because we are attached to the beaming of France over the world. We will eradicate terrorism so that the movement of people, the movement of cultures, and that human civilization should be richer than ever. We will eradicate terrorism so that France should go on showing the way. Terrorism will not destroy the Republic because the Republic will destroy terrorism. Long live the Republic and long live France.
So investigations are ongoing. 5 of the suicide bombers have been identified, 5 out of the 7 which committed the attacks. Most of these suicide bombers are French, but were based in Belgium, and that's where the investigation has now shifted. Christian Fraser has more for us on the latest on the investigation in Brussels.
He's already slipped through their fingers once, and now there are frantic efforts to retrace him. And as long as Salah Abdeslam is free, another attack is a serious concern. The investigation has been centred throughout the weekend on this notorious Brussels district of Molenbeek. Today, a huge area of the city was sealed off as a special police unit moved in.
There was a lot of action. I saw the police rushing in and putting barriers in place. Then they told everyone to get back and said we must stay inside.
The operation was over. The federal prosecutor confirmed they had been looking for Abdeslam but had not found him. We also understand they've released his brother, Mohammed, without charge after holding him over the weekend. Salah Abdeslam is a 26-year-old Frenchman. He was living in Belgium and he is the key suspect. He was linked to a VW Polo, one of 2 cars rented in Belgium that was abandoned on Friday night near the Bataclan Theatre. Police think Abdeslam was one of the gunmen in the 10th and 11th arrondissement. The team escaped in a Seat found abandoned in the Paris suburb of Montreuil. Inside were 3 Kalashnikovs and 11 spent cartridges. At a checkpoint in Cambrai on the northern border early on Saturday morning, and now travelling in a VW Golf, Abdeslam turned up with 2 other people. Police did question him. They took his name, but he was waved on, having produced French ID. Only later did they realise Salah's brother, Brahim, was the gunman who'd blown himself up on Boulevard Voltaire. The Belgian foreign minister says it is now an international manhunt.
We need to exchange more and more intelligence, because it's not only with national people. We have arrested a lot of French people in Brussels, and we are knowing that there are many people crossing all the time from one city to another one.
In the past 12 years, Molenbeek has been linked to the Madrid train bombings, the attack last year on a Jewish museum in Brussels, the supermarket attack in Paris the week of the Charlie Hebdo attacks, and in August the failed attack on a high-speed train to Paris. At least 7 people have been arrested in Brussels this weekend. It seems that within a hardline section of this community, there is a culture of secrecy that poses risk not only to Belgium, but Europe as a whole.
Paris is a city in mourning. You can see the candles behind me. People are still paying their respect. Paris is also a city on edge. There was a massive crowd panic yesterday on this very square for no apparent reason. Paris is also a cosmopolitan city with many communities living here, and all are feeling the pain tonight. Just a few yards from this very spot is a neighborhood with a vibrant African community, a neighborhood called Château d'Or in the 10th arrondissement, not far from where some of the attacks took place. And today I want to speak to the people over there. They were from Nigeria, from Côte d'Ivoire, from Congo, and all of them told me of their grief, of their anger, and also of the fear they were feeling after the attacks of Friday. Let's listen to some of them.
We're here in Château d'Eau, which is a cosmopolitan and African community, and we're against all of these acts. But we're also scared, because for us to live here won't be easy from now on. We just don't know what will happen.
It's not good. I live in the 11th, and it's not good enough. We need more security. They need to stop these attacks. Put electronic tags on them. A lot of children died.
On the 13th, I was supposed to be working at the Stade de France, but I wasn't available. I have friends who went there to work. So when the explosion happened, some of those friends got injured. They are Muslim like me, and maybe more Muslims than the terrorists. They read the Quran and they pray regularly.
African Parisians upset, angry and sad. Lebo?
Olivia, we heard one of those gentlemen saying that he felt that from now on it wasn't going to be easy living there. Are people worried about a backlash against African communities, particularly the Muslim communities?
Yes, the African communities are not worried about a backlash against them. They've suffered just as much as the others. Tonight we found out that there were several Africans among the victims of the attacks. So there are all French and all Parisians tonight united in their pain and in their horror of what happened. But it is true that when you speak to Muslim Parisians, they worry that one more time they will be stigmatized, that one more time people will look at them funny, and they tell me over and over again, this has nothing to do with us, we were shocked as everyone else. But this time is not quite like in January during the Charlie Hebdo attack. Those attacks were so broad and targeting so many different targets that everyone feels that they're a target. And so the idea of stigmatization, even if the Muslims have to justify themselves one more time, there is more of a feeling of unity, I would say, this time.
Okay, Olivier, thank you very much.